Well, I think the very beginning was very abstract. I mean, we had been given a little assignment by Liz to create a little phrase on a bench.
I mean, there were 12 directions.
Right, exactly. Move your torso, move your head. And we just did those independently, and then then we did it together, just side by side, and see what happened. But we did evolve that phrase, and then that was sort of like how our relationship was kind of starting to develop. We didn't know mother-daughter or caregiver, nurse, patient, because it hadn't been formed. We were just exploring, so it was kind of open to interpretation, our little duet that we had.
I feel like this week we've just had consistency, really. Like we've had a whole week, every day, to move in and out of the characters, and also getting to know each other better. Mm-hmm. And so, and just physically as dancers, so physically as humans. So there just seems to be this natural trust that I know I'm building in the relationship with you. And my time at Harvard was really a sketch, just a beginning sketch of what this character could be. Ideas, working partly from stereotypes, partly from stories, partly like just relying on costumes and context and video to really help me, start to feel who this person was. I think that in exploring the contemporary relationship, I feel like we're able to bust out of that formality of like the stereotypes of what a mother and daughter how they might act together, and kind of go past those places that are really scary and vulnerable and unknown.
It's much less restrained, it's much more expressive, it's less repressed, and what I would like to do, which we haven't actually even talked about yet, but is to go back to the Civil War and figure out how to make those people really real within all of those constraints that they had. In some ways we're just sort of going into a totally different direction for now as another exploration. So in that time, I was really focused on the Civil War and kind of Clara Barton in this certain kind of I guess kind of a genteel portrait of her. And then I had this whole section where my character, Clara Barton, was in the hoop skirt and the whole Civil War kind of garb, working with these letters where she's trying to locate the bodies of the fallen soldiers from the North who have been lost to their families. And so now here in Florida, we're working on trying to figure out what does this person's relationship, how does it change if we were going to put her in a contemporary war.
The thing I'm on right now is women during Civil War, when they fought on the front lines, they would often be dressed as men, or they would be wearing pants. And in that time period, women didn't wear pants, so they were never thought to be women. So there was this aspect of secrecy or hiding. I'm drawing a correlation between that aspect of like hidden or secrecy, hiding or secrecy, to the way women in contemporary war struggles need to hide aspects of themselves to feel like they can meet the kind of the things that are being asked of them in combat. They have to hide their femininity, which they also had to do in the Civil War, and there's a kind of invisibility that I feel exists in both struggles, in both women's stories.
We've explored a lot of different structures. We've been doing a bunch of different improvs. Keith Thompson has been here helping develop movement language by, he and Liz have been coming up with these improvisational structures for us to start with, and then we're just taking those and working with them.
Liz is very good at contextualizing things and being clear about narrative and what's needed and how much, and being able to work with text and work with multi-generational people and work with many different collaborators. My thing is I approach everything from a physical base, a movement base first. I've been really excited just to see the things that Ali and Tamara have already generated, and I know that they're here diving into their characters, and in order to figure out what their characters are and how to develop them, she needs to strip away some of the history.
We took the little solo that I had back in the Civil War, and I showed it to Keith, and so then he took that and he that wasn't an improv, we just kind of changed it up and he broke it and made it more of a, kind of a contemporarized it. The next day we went to the beach and they asked, okay, so we're going to take the movement, stuff that you've had in the Civil War, and you're going to, as though there's a certain urgency that you need to communicate. Don't worry about the movement. Just I want you to communicate what it is. This urgency that Clara Barton has. Oh yeah, and it was. I'd never danced on the beach before, so I didn't really even have any expectation of what that was going to be like, and how it was kind of surprising how changed it was to just like the surface and the resistance and the kind of all those elements really were challenging and fun. But so for us, thankfully we could just keep talking during it because nobody was going to hear what we were saying, and the ground actually isn't that far down and the water wasn't that deep, so we felt like even if the worst came to worst,
no shark attacks. A few days ago, veteran and military police veteran Alex Mujica came, and I had the privilege of speaking with him and asking him a lot of questions. And I think I went into the interview kind of feeling like, well, what this man is here, and I'm really interested in the women's stories, so I'm going to try to get female stories through this man, Alex. And what I found was that there were so many aspects of just like basic things about fighting and about war and about being in the military that I don't know.
Today we did an improv that had to do with kind of like a trapping and a pinning of one person and the other person trying to get away. Once again, that doesn't have any emotional content when you just describe it like that, but then inherent in that actual action, there can't help but be some kind of you read something into it emotionally, even if you're trying not to play it with any emotion, even if it's just the abstract version of it. I'm feeling like our work here this week in the present day is really going to be good to kind of continue back into the other time zone when we get.
It's going to really inform that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so right. We haven't gotten to visit that yet.
This kind of a residency where you really get to focus on just it's so valuable because we're not doing a whole big showing. We're not trying to get to the end thing. We're just saying we're really focusing on something small right now for a whole week, and just the luxury of that provides this. So now we have this developing this grounding of how we can be together, and we could never do that in Boston because there was 1,000 things going on, all these other dancers and performers and expectations and everything. So it was a totally different experience.
I am loving my work with Tamara and building that relationship. I also feel like I started to work on building relationships with some of the other dancers across time, and I'm really curious about what happens when characters from two different time periods meet. So I'm hoping that we get to explore that way some more. I'm really interested in like really developing the choreography and feeling like it lives in me. And then I also feel like a strong responsibility to portraying women's struggles or stories in a with integrity.
It's so rich and full of possibilities, and it's a huge exciting project that I want to continue to be a part of. And now that I've become a part of it, it's really really incredible, and the time is just so short. It's been a week here. We've done a lot of work, but it feels like we're just scratching the surface, so I'm really excited about digging in and seeing where else it can go and how my role can continue to help, everyone in the process.
Liz has this amazing ability to bring together a lot of different artists and collaborators, and I think that's one of the great things about being able to be part of that big energy and synergy of a lot of different artists working together. I love that. I'm finding that this project is so rich with possibility that I'm really enjoying the research end of things, and I'm really enjoying this process and not being in a hurry and not being anxious about things. It's like I don't really even want to leave this part of it.